Ladies and gentlemen, I am Harry Lawson series, and this is my YouTube channel grecochess. In the past few days, if you remember and if you watched them, I was playing, in fact I was facing the chess.com bot starting from the weakest, that was Martin with a rating of 250, and as I was winning I was going all the way up, and I was hoping that I could make it very high all the way to the end. For 21 days, 21 videos, I was defeating one bot after another, most of them quite easily. And then on the 22nd, that was rated 1200, after winning with the white pieces, I played the black, and unfortunately I lost very unexpectedly and too early. And now in this video I'm going to use this experience to discuss with you what does it mean to lose in chess, especially against lower rated players, and how to deal with it. Let me first start sharing my screen with you. And this video, I'm calling it the agony of defeat. What does it mean to lose to a lower rated player? And let me start with my own personal experiences that I had during the recent days. On Friday, July 11th, I participated in the 80th Chessanity tournament, and you may remember that I presented videos with my games. In round number one, I beat a player with rating of near 1300 with a lot of difficulty at the last moment. But in round number two, I played against another 1300 player, and this time I lost. This was the one experience, and the other is the one I mentioned before, that when I was playing against the chess.com bots, after 21 bots destroying them both with white and with black, in the bot number 22 from the bottom with the rating of 1200, after winning with white, I lost with black and the series was ended. How does one deal with that? Clearly, I need to tell you that it's not a pleasant feeling. And let me start by sharing with you some of the most common excuses I've heard from people when they lose, especially to lower rated players. Number one excuse: the opponent cheated. Number two is that the time control, there was something wrong, it was not fair. Too short, too long, too whatever. This is like saying that if I lose in a marathon, if only the marathon was a mile longer or shorter, I would have won. Next excuse: there is something wrong with the ratings. Yes, my opponent was rated 1300, but the real rating is 2300, but there's something wrong with the rating system. Just to tell you, to put things in perspective, that I lost to a bot of 1200 and I lost to an actual human of rating 1300, while my current rating is 1579, meaning really they were much lower rated than me. Of course, one can despair and say that I am useless. And the last one is the one I invented that is a little bit amusing. There was a Chessanti tournament I participated. I had the highest rating of all, but I ended up losing 3 out of 3. At the very bottom, 0 points. So I go to the tournament director and I say, it's your fault, because when white is going to win, you give me the black pieces. And when black is going to win, you give me the white pieces. Please give me the correct colors next time. Of course, the last one was amusing one, a humorous one, to turn bitterness into laughter. But the other ones, really many people have mentioned them. And what I believe is that there might be some truth in them, but in reality, these excuses are not adequate. And let's go to them one by one and see what is wrong with these cases. I go back to the previous slide. Opponent cheated. Most of the times the opponent has not cheated, but if they did, they offered you a free chess lesson. meaning you have the chance to see what are the actual computer moves and how to put them into your game next time. And if the opponent cheated, basically they harmed themselves more than you. Yourself, you got a free lesson, a free computer chess lesson that you can use next time. And you should look at it that way. The time control was not fair. Well, if both players had the same time control, cannot speak about fairness or unfairness. Some people say which is the ideal time control. In my opinion, this is like saying which is the ideal length of a running race. There is no such thing. 100 meters is one event, 200 meters another event, 400, 800 meters, all the way to the marathon. There are different events that need different qualities. For example, in the 100 meters, having quick reflexes is extremely important because the tenth of a second you're going to waste until you start running can decide the outcome. But in the marathon, that is not important at all. They're different events, the same thing with time controls. The classical one or the bullet ones, they're just different kinds of chess, the same way that for different distances we have different kind of races. There's something wrong with the ratings. Well, what happens, first of all, people that have not played for many years are surprised to see that for the same rating, people are much stronger now, which is the case because now people have more opportunities to study chess and to learn. In case, yes, occasionally you have the player that, while they improved privately, they have not played tournaments, so they may come up with a rating of, let's say, 1,000, but their strength is for 1,500. This may happen once in a while, but that's happened to everyone. Get used to it. The next one, I'm useless. The despair that because you lost to a lower rated player, and I've seen many people, especially children, crying after such an event. No, you're not useless. If you play chess and you lose, you're much better than the people that don't play chess at all. The most painful lessons, by the way, are the ones that you are ahead all the time and just one moment of carelessness, inaccuracy, change the result. And after, from a winning position, you end up losing. And this happens to everyone. Recently, Hikaru Nakamura, the second best player in the world, was playing against Magnus Carlsen, the strongest. And Hikaru Nakamura had a completely winning position, but he resigned. Why? Because no matter what he played, he would lose his queen, and that's what he saw, and he resigned. But one of the ways, he would still lose his queen, but he had a checkmate a few moves later. So this happens to everyone. And as I mentioned here, that all chess players lose, and quite often to lower rated players, and more often than what they expect, more often than what we want, we lose. The excuses are not adequate, as I mentioned before, and we need to use the losses as learning experiences. How? Let me start with my own personal experience. If you remember from the videos of the Society tournament, after I beat someone with rating of 1300 at the last moment, barely beat, in fact, the position was theoretically equal until almost the end. And after I lost with someone with a 1300, round number three, I was playing with someone rated 1958. Just to tell you, until that moment, I've never won against anyone above 1820, 1830 was my highest win. 1958, well, I didn't expect anything, but I won that game, the win against my strongest opponent ever. And even though the third round started just minutes after the end of the second round, where I had no time to psychologically recover. So please keep in mind that loss is part of the experience, losing to lower rated players, losing because you are ahead all the time, but at the very end you missed a chance, and don't let it affect you. But let's see now what exactly to lose, what exactly to learn. After you lose, Of course, ideally you should look at the game. Some people say with the computer, some people say without. Some people say first without the computer, then with the computer. It doesn't matter how. But you need to find not only the losing moves. For example, you're way ahead, you're going to mate, but when you did the checkmating move or the move you thought was checkmating, you forgot there was a bishop at the under end of the board that took your queen that was going to mate or anything like that. Of course, look for the losing moves, but look for the reasons why you played the losing move. Are there any common patterns? Sometimes it is because you don't pay attention to your pieces and a piece is threatened, you don't see it, and you lose your piece. Or you don't see a mating pattern, or after you're way ahead in material, the opponent starts pushing pawns, one of them is promoted, and now you're behind. I've both lost and won many games like that. Look at them and try to see how to overcome them. And if you don't overcome them immediately, don't worry. There's always another time. In case you happen to win, equally, of course, for a draw, but even more for a win, please, please, please don't be arrogant. Don't feel, oh, I won, I'm great, and never look back at the game. You should also look at your game critically. See, did you make any errors? Did your opponent have any misses? Oh, you blundered tons of pieces, but your opponent didn't see it and you won. Look for this because next time your opponent may not be so blind. You may not be so lucky. Any lessons to learn? And of course, this is a completely different story. If you start with tricks like Scholar's Mate and you win games like that, don't feel too happy because as you go up the ladder, your opponents are not going to fall for that. And finally, keep in your mind that losing is not a shame. Nothing wrong with you as an individual. No, you're not stupid because you lost a game, or even if you were dead end of the tournament. In Chessanity, there was a time when I would be dead last with 0 points, even though I had the highest rating of all. It's always a pattern with the ups and downs. And winning does not make you a superior person. Losing does not make you an inferior person. As for myself, as I mentioned before, after losing to a 1300 rated player, I went on just a few minutes later, round number 3, playing against a 1958 rated player, and I won my highest rated opponent that I defeated. And as for the series of playing against the bots, well, the series is over. I made that rule, so I'm not going to change it. I'm not going to violate it. But I'll see what else I can do. There's so many other things to cover. But that's it for this video. Hope you learned something. And we'll continue with other interesting topics in the next video. As always, I appreciate your comments. Thanks for the people that liked. And especially thanks to the subscribers. I am Harry Lassoneziris. This is my grecochess YouTube channel. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.